They don't understand casting judgment. I just stand on loyalty. I'm keeping it 100, and that will never change. You can hate it or you love it.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. As you guys can see in the title, I got my boy Al back again.
Yo, what's up? Good to be back.
Yep. And y'all, if y'all have been listening to the podcast, you already know what Al is about. But if y'all don't, I'll leave that episode in the description if you're watching on YouTube. But today, me and Al, we're going to touch on a lot of different topics going on in the creative space right now. You know what? Enough talking. Like I said, if y'all want to get to know Al, check the episode in the description. But enough talking. Let's get to our first topic, and that is the writer's strike. Al, what do you know about the writer's strike?
Excuse me. So, with the writer's strike right now, I do know that it's happening currently. I don't know exactly the reason why. What's going on with that one? But I know a lot of movies are being held back just because of that whole writer's strike. So, you gotta briefly talk to me about that one.
So pretty much, and this is just stuff that I've been getting from like different videos and stuff like that. Pretty much the writer's strike started because of streaming. You know how like back in the day when like shows would have reruns on TV, writers would get paid for each rerun. Mm-hmm. You know, when a show goes to streaming, basically they don't really count how many times an episode gets streamed. They only get paid for writing the episode. So basically, writers are striking so that they can get paid per stream every time somebody watches an episode or a movie or anything like that.
So, with that being said, how come how come they're not paying those people?
Honestly, I don't know. But one of the interesting things about it, and this is probably one reason why why companies are fighting back against the writers, is if you notice, a lot of these streaming companies don't like sharing their numbers for episodes. Like, they might flex it in like trailers, like how Netflix is like 1 billion people watched this, but that might only count as a first day number. You don't know who's really watching it like as time goes on.
Okay.
So in a way, it's kind of like companies finally having to pull back the curtain and show how many people, like how much an episode was streamed and stuff like that.
Okay. That's interesting.
And the crazy thing about it is I've been hearing that basically, and a lot of people are likening this to the writer's strike that happened in 2008.
Yeah.
Which I heard about that, but I didn't really think about like all the crazy stuff that happened because of that writer's strike, like shows getting canceled or shows not really having proper endings or movies that had it canceled or studios had to use old scripts that they at first disapproved of, but now they have to pick it back up since there isn't any writers. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just like, dang. So that means that any show that we currently watch, and you know I love Power, mm-hmm. Thankfully season 4 is getting filmed right now. They're past the writing stage.
Yeah.
But from what I'm hearing, like, you know, sometimes they do different things off the script and stuff like that. Like, now they got to stay exactly on script. You really can't change anything. Any future seasons of shows or any movies that hasn't been written, they can't get worked on any further because of the writer's strike. So this is just a crazy thing. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen because nobody knows how long this is going to last.
Got it. So first things first is, why are streaming companies reluctant to show their numbers? Because something I've noticed with every TV show I watch, when I check out the viewers and how like the numbers are, they gradually decrease because of course, as we've seen, pilots are like the ones that get a lot of streaming because new show, people want to know what it's about. Mm-hmm. But as the episodes keep showing, as they keep showing new episodes, of course it gradually goes down because now a lot, after the pilot episode, a lot more people are now deciding, okay, if they want to keep watching the show or not. That's completely normal on TV. So I don't know why now they're reluctant to show their viewers. It's not going to, because no one cares about numbers, to be honest with you. No one's going to see a TV show and say, okay, the numbers are starting to go down. Like, it makes no sense. Like, okay, let's see the show for ourselves and dictate for ourselves if we want to keep watching the show or not. I don't think numbers really matter now. Well, at least for me personally, it doesn't matter. But I think
Well, you know what they always say: men lie, women lie, but numbers don't.
there is that. Yeah.
But the thing that I don't understand, especially for like companies like Netflix, who's the top streaming service, surprisingly, I don't know how Disney Plus hasn't beat them out yet, or HBO Max, but I don't understand why they hide their numbers, because they make a lot of the most popular shows for streaming. So if you're the top one that a lot of these other streaming services are competing with, what's the point of hiding your numbers? Because you're always going to remain on top.
That's what I'm saying as well. And on top of that, it's like it seems like they're guilty of like hiding something. Like they don't want to like show them their like true numbers and all that. And it's like, are you guys scared that people are gonna stop watching the shows if they start seeing the numbers? I don't know. That's an interesting thing. And it's like, it's so easy for me to even say like, hey, who cares about numbers? Because tie it back to social media. I don't care about the likes I get, but most people do. And people think, people dictate the numbers, the amount of likes or views they get will dictate the value of the video, which in a nutshell, yeah, that does dictate the value of a video or TV series in the Netflix case. But it's like, for one, yeah, who cares on that one? And on top of that, it's like, I mean, support your people. They need the money for that one.
And that's the thing I was thinking about. It's like, why should there even be a dispute against the writers? Because, like, yeah, you got directors, you got producers, you got, the editing staff, you got everybody behind the scenes. But writers do tend to get overlooked in Hollywood a lot. Like, I really don't see too many people credit writers for, like, why stuff is as good as they are. And for companies like Netflix, whose shows wouldn't even be anywhere if it wasn't for the writers, it's like, why disrespect them like that?
And
they're the reasons why your show is so popular.
Yeah, and it is disrespectful because, again, here how writing goes or how coming up with a show goes is a producer comes up with a concept. Now they have to find writers to actually bring that concept to life and for them to actually confirm that they want to go with that type of script. Now they got to find writers, and writing a script is fucking hard because it's just, you got to fully immerse yourself with that character. You got to fully immerse yourself with the time period that character is living in. So it's almost like that writer is a fucking protagonist of itself. So writers do deserve a lot of appreciation for that one. And on top of that, it's like, again, pay your people. It's a simple, maybe it's because I'm not a CEO or an executive, but at the same time, it's like, pay your people, otherwise there'll be consequences for that type of stuff. These people aren't robots. They know their value, especially when you get hired into a place like Netflix, where a lot of people who make it there are pretty much people who are really talented or probably know somebody who knows somebody, how connections are. But yeah, like, those people know their value. So what do you think is going to happen if you don't pay them, or if you try to miss payroll with them? They're going to strike. And with those people, those most important people who write your films and your TV shows, if you strike them, you won't be able to make those TV shows or movies. Hence, you will lose money. So I'm putting this in the simplest form because I feel like there's going to be some type of CEO or executive telling me the true reality of how this goes.
And see, even, okay, maybe a CEO or whatever can tell us about what's really going on with the company and stuff like that, but I don't know. I feel like it's really goes down to an appreciation thing. Maybe they've got so high up that they're up their ass and they don't want to, appreciate the people that help them bring their work together. But at the end of the day, film, TV, it's all one melting pot of people working together to create something. And, you can't just leave one person out of the thank yous when you want to thank everybody else. Everybody played their part in creating this product. But I don't know. I just feel like that's very disrespectful to the writers. Even if Netflix has a reason for why, and I don't want to just single out Netflix because they basically said it's a whole streaming thing. I don't want to just point them out, but no matter who it is, I still feel like we all need to appreciate these writers for their part in creating these movies and shows that we like. And it's just crazy thinking about the implications of this. If a movie or show wasn't already finished written, then basically they're getting canceled or delayed and stuff like that. And I likened it to Power. Like, season 4 of Ghost is done, but did they even start writing season 5? I know a lot of MCU fans were talking about how like movies like Fantastic Four and stuff that was planned way into the future may need to get delayed. I'm pretty sure there's some upcoming films that you're probably into that, you know, have they even made their writing stages yet?
I'm not too sure.
So, yeah, it's crazy. And I've been seeing that now. It might even lead into directors taking their own strike, because a lot of directors and actors have been standing with the writers.
Because people like that, and again, this is something that CEOs and executives don't understand. It's not these guys. It's not those guys that are making money. It's not the CEOs and the executives who are making money. Yeah, they know how to sweet talk their way to make money, but it's really the people who are literally on the front line putting in all the work. That's something that people don't. I feel like that's something that businesses don't take a lot of care of. It's just making sure those people who put in all that work to make sure that their content is 100% A1 quality. Mm-hmm. They don't care for those people like that. They treat them like they're almost like monkeys or just like slaves to them. And it's like, hey, look, let's be real. You guys in these nice suits, like it's cool that you guys make it, like you guys are getting us up there. But at the same time, it's like, we're the ones doing all the fucking grunt work. We're the ones who come up with these things. We're the ones who have to sit there and actually extend our creative brains out to figure out how we can make this really good. And it's like, I challenge these guys to do that now. Mm-hmm. That's why even with videos, I understand that one, because it's like, I challenge not a creative director. I challenge a business person to grab a camera to shoot video. I challenge someone to make content. That's such a hard thing, because like you as a creative, you want to stand out. So it's like, hey, look, it's easy to cheat these people out, but ultimately, hey, look, they're the ones who make your fucking work, and they're the ones who can walk away from this shit right now. They can find a different company, or hell, they can start their own company. It's funny. It's a common trend how big businesses, not even just streaming services, even with video games, I don't know if you guys heard of Ubisoft, the people who make Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, or what's a game that people know? Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs. Like, those executives, they cheat out their employees. They cheat out their developers. And they say, hey, look, we're going to do it this way because that's what we think it works for us. And it's pure arrogance. And those people end up leaving. And then those executives who know what they're doing and just don't want to listen to like the people who actually put in all the work, they lose money off of that. So I don't understand where the arrogance comes from, because at the end of the day, you're losing money.
And you know the crazy thing about that, though? A lot of those executives and bosses of these companies now, like most of them were basically those people at the bottom at one point, and they had to work their way up there. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like forgetting where you came from. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of backwards to me, because if you went through the work and you've seen how it is, when you want to repay those people for what you used to do as some type of appreciation or something.
Yeah, I feel that. It's like, where's that appreciation at? Are you guys gonna give back to those people? I mean, they're doing your work. You guys gotta serve them in some sort of way too. It's a simple concept. Hey, look, we're just filmmakers. We're not executives.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you think this is going to last long? How long do you think it will take us to even come to a conclusion?
Once they see that they're worried about numbers, once they see that their revenue is going down a lot more lower than it did years before, I think they're going to have to act on that one. I believe they'll act on that one, because any company, they want to keep making money. They don't want any decline in their revenue. So when they see that their revenue goes down, or the amount of money they're making goes down because the writers no longer want to make their films since they're not paying them, they're going to think, maybe now is the time we act on this now. Mm-hmm. Not when they are now striking, not when way before when they're asking, well, what's up with this one? How come we're not getting money because of these streaming services? Because you guys want to hide your views.
Do you think directors and actors taking the strike will also influence them to come to more of a conclusion?
I think definitely actors and directors will, because they're the ones who get more of the glory. So if you have, I don't know, I wanna say Steven Spielberg, but I don't think he's never made a Netflix movie. Let's say, okay, fine. In the sake of time, I'll just say Steven Spielberg. If he actually stood with those people, all those writers striking with them, that shows a powerful message. That shows a powerful message right there. So, yeah, if actors and directors actually, and I'm not saying do it just because they're being forced to do it. I'm saying do it because you actually want to do it. If they actually do that one and have a message against that, that sends a powerful message to those executives saying, hey, look, you guys got to cut your shit right now.
Yeah, I do think I think we need like one of those big directors that everybody looks up to step into it. Cause right now I've only been seeing like a few actors really getting into it. I heard about one director, I forget which one it was, but I feel like we need like a big one, like a Quentin Tarantino or someone like that to really step up. Because I mean, so I feel like the writer's strike has somewhat gone under the radar unless you're really into film and TV and stuff like that. But if you get more people involved, that like household names involved that like everybody knows, then it's going to bring a bigger awareness to the situation.
Yep.
So I don't know. I hope they get this solved quickly, but I mean, I pretty much already said what I had to say. It's really just all about appreciation to me, and just these bosses and these executives need to know that the people that really, help bring their products together, it basically all starts with the writer's room.
With time, they'll learn. When they're losing their money, that's when they're going to actually take appreciation out of that one. It's arrogant how they're acting, but I mean, again, I only know the broad story of what's going on. I don't know the deeper meaning of why these executives want to hold out on that, but yeah.
And you would have think, the entertainment industry would have learned since 2008. Like, I know streaming is fairly a new, like, technology and whatever, but, I mean, if we've already kind of been through something like this, you would think, we would take precautions to never go through anything like this again.
And with that being said as well, streaming is now, it's now a lot harder for people to make money off of this stuff. That's why people hate movies being in streaming services, because they're no longer collecting money from box offices across the world. They're now getting it off of streaming services. Some people don't have HBO, Netflix, or whatever. Some people have to bootleg their stuff off bootleg sites. So it's like, I mean, I think they're looking at it in terms of like, hey, look, streaming's getting money off streaming services. We're making a good income off of that one. But it's like, I mean, I don't think it was better compared to like when it was in the box office. I'm talking about movies though. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, when you just brought that up, that kind of brought up like one of my gripes with streaming services and studios putting their films to streaming services. I partly feel like sometimes studios do that as like a dumping ground for films that they don't have that much faith in.
Really?
Like, well, you know me, I'm a big comedy guy, and like I've been noticing streaming services have been throwing their comedy films on. I mean, companies have been throwing their comedy movies on streaming services, and I'm just like, I don't know. I think y'all just basically using that as a dump. Like, oh, we don't have as much faith in this film, so we'll just put it on streaming services so that we don't waste too much of a budget here.
Is that an actual thing? Is that an actual strategy that people do? Because
I'm starting to feel like that really is one. Because Al, let me ask you, what was the last major like comedy movie that you've seen in theaters? Not a movie that incorporated comedy, but what was the last solely comedy movie that you've seen? That's also not an indie movie.
Yeah, there's that one.
Because I'll tell you, the last time I saw a solely comedy movie in theaters was 2019.
Dog, I honestly don't remember, to be honest with you.
See? But we'll save that topic for another day.
Okay.
Because us talking about the writer's strike leads me into one of my next topics that I want to talk about with you. And that is, I've been hearing that studios are probably going to use AI while this writer's strike is going on to do scripts.
Wait, what is that? So essentially,
they're gonna use AI to write film scripts or TV show scripts. At least this is what I heard, but it brings up the broader topic of how, people are starting to use AI too much for creative spaces. How do you feel about that? Because I know me and you haven't really talked about it, but I know you've been seeing all the AI music that's been coming up with artists. And then back in last December, there was like a whole thing with the AI art making portraits of people. So like, how do you feel about AI taking over creative stuff?
How do I feel about... Shoot, my hat. Drop my hat, guys. How do I feel about that one?
I especially want your thoughts on it because, like, I know, just like me, you're really big into thinking about stuff like that, so...
It's a problem. See, one thing I learned about technology or any new innovative thing is that they're always good. No one makes these things for bad intentions. It's never made for bad intentions at all. What dictates how good or bad it is how we as human beings use it and how well we moderate it.
Mm-hmm.
Having to rely on AI for not just creative work, for anything now, like being 100% reliant on AI, it's a mistake on our part. Just because it's like, now not only are we relying on AI for interpersonal communication to talk to people, now people are looking into get like AI robots just to actually have a conversation with them. I heard they're having like AI puppies or this AI seal that where a kid or someone feels upset or something, they have that AI generated seal to like actually comfort them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing, yeah.
Well, that's the least crazy thing I've seen. I saw an article this week where apparently like this company is coming up with like a OS where it's an AI, and apparently like over 1 week they saw that the AI came up with emotions and morality.
Again, it's really interesting. It's really impressive how they do that stuff. But again, it's ridiculous because I think we're now coming to a point now where we're so obsessed and we really want to be immersed in this AI technology to the point where we're now losing interpersonal communication. We're now losing individual value a lot faster than we anticipate.
Mm-hmm.
Because my problem with AI art is the fact that it's not your own. It's not your own type of thing. The reason why people say this person's video is better than the other person's video, this one's artwork is better than the other person's artwork, this person's song is better than the other person's song, because that person itself, that actual human being itself, with his or her own mind, did it on their own. It wasn't processed by AI software, nothing like that at all. It was all made off of the human itself.
And I talked about AI. Well, I was only talking about AI music,
Mm-hmm.
but on an earlier episode, I mentioned how pretty much like AI music won't ever touch the actual artist doing it because it doesn't have the exact soul or the creative mind that the artist particularly has.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was seeing a lot of AI Ariana Grande songs, and yeah, it sounded like her singing the songs, but it doesn't have her style on it, like how she layers her vocals on top of each other, how she basically just using her style and whatever. And I feel like that's the thing, trying to connect this back to the writing thing for films and stuff like that. Like me taking my writer's classes, they always said draw off your own experiences or go out and listen to people talking and try to like use the way you hear people talking on the street for your characters and stuff like that. AI art can't do that. Like AIs ain't gonna sit there and listen to people, and they're not gonna. And it's a fucking computer. It's not gonna have its own experience to draw off of. People only write and create what they know.
I'll put it like this. I'll use this example.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you get a teddy bear, right? A little child gets a teddy bear. You get one from your mom, and then you get one from a random stranger. Which one do you think has more value?
Obviously, your mom.
Obviously, your mom. That child is going to cherish that teddy bear because that's his mom who bought that one. Someone who he already values, someone who he knows what I keep saying he or she knows.
And by the way, kids, don't be taking toys from random strangers.
Don't do that. Yes. But yes, he or she knows the value of what his or her mom represents. So of course that child is going to cherish that a lot more than getting it from a stranger, just because you're getting it for someone who you know the value that person is from. Now compare that to AI. You're getting when you hear, I would say, a Drake song that was actually written by Drake, written and rapped by Drake.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more value to that one because it's actually Drake doing it, and you like him, and you're listening to him because you genuinely like Drake and what he has to stand for. Now imagine Drake is AI generated in, I don't know, any random other song. You're not gonna find value in that one just because it's like, we all know that this isn't Drake. We all know that it's not him putting in all his time, his creativity, his voice, his heart and soul into that one. So yeah, it's impressive that they did that, but we know at the end of the day, it's not him. It's simple facts. It's not him. So it's even like, you've seen the movie Her, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, you have the emotional attachment of an AI generated OS system, but there's things you can't do with that OS system. You can't be intimate with that person. You can't understand the value of that person because you know at the next update that person's gone.
The next update. Just updates into another girl.
Exactly. So it's like, that's cool. It's impressive. I'm glad technology has evolved that far where AI is able to generate its own type of stuff, but we know that that's not the true form. We know there's little to no value with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I want the real fucking thing. That's all it is. So when people want to implement, people want to like rely on AI for art, AI to write their films. Yeah, it's convenient. Yeah, it gets it out the way. But at the same time, it's like, we know it's not true. We know it's not authentic. And then also this, you want to really rely on technology. Technology, there's always glitches that happen to that one.
Yeah.
Always a software glitch. Always something that's going to happen that
all you got to do is unplug a wire.
Exactly. All you got to do is unplug a wire. That's exactly what it is. And at some point, we're going to rely on that one. What if a software glitch happens? We can't do anything about that one. Now that we're so immersed in that AI world where we expected to do everything for us, now we got to go back to the old-fashioned old age where now we got to think about it ourselves now. Can you imagine how bad that's going to be for them? That person who's so used to AI, so used to that OS system, that software doing the work for them, going back to them actually doing the work. Now it's like
some of them wouldn't even know what to do.
It's like, and this is another example. It's like a child who is so used to having fun off an iPad, so used to playing on a PS5, so used to doing all that, like relying on technology. Their computer shuts down, their Wi-Fi shuts off, their iPad dies and they don't have a charger. Now they gotta get used to going outside. And now that's such a scary thing for them because now they're no longer immersed in that type of.
See, I'm laughing, but like this actually could be really happening right now.
Yeah, it's funny at first, but really it's like, hey, that's another thing. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we're relying on technology, but again, there's only so much technology can do. Anything can happen to it, which is out of our control, and then we're gonna be stuck just saying, well, what do we do now? Do what you're originally designed to do, human being.
Well, wait till those AI starts getting violent. That's one thing I said when I talked about AI. I said, eventually it is going to be on some iRobot shit, because apparently from all the articles I'm reading, humans don't really know when to stop upgrading this shit.
They don't. And it's funny that you mentioned iRobot, because it's been predicted so many times that robots can always, like, robots have, especially AI, they have a mind of their own.
Mm-hmm.
And when anything happens, when it switches up on us, now we're going to be like, oh man, what do we do and all that? And it's like, this is going to happen. It's been talked about so many times.
Oh wait, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the whole problem with not just technology, anything innovative. It's just that it's ultimately served for good. Like, I'm pretty sure whoever invented it for a good reason. But there's always a way it can be turned against us. Oh, so many things we have made in this world. Airplanes, tech, phones.
Wait, before you continue, because you going somewhere else. I just wanted to bring up real quick with the AI thing. I actually saw an article yesterday where Tom Hanks said that he would be fine with AI, keeping him alive and doing more roles after he's death. I mean, after he dies.
Okay,
How do you feel about doing that?
okay. I mean, again, it serves its purpose as long as it's able to help people in some sort of way where it's actually life changing. All right, that's good. But at the same time, again, you're relying on something that you don't have a lot of control over, and it's good if it's able to enhance you, but don't become 100% reliant on it because things happen, and when things happen, you're like, crap, what do I do now? Well, you have no control over it. But yeah, that's how I feel about AI.
Wow. I'm surprised you were that nonchalant about the Tom Hanks thing, because I don't know. That just kind of. I mean, I know that it's his blessing, like he's fine with it, but I don't know. I just don't feel right with an actor on Tom Hanks' caliber being replicated by a computer.
I know you're talking about him. It's so funny. I actually thought you were saying like AI to enhance his life.
Oh no, he's saying after he dies, like he wants people to continue using Tom Hanks' AI to give him roles in movies.
Yeah, I'm against that one as well. It's just the fact that it's not him.
I can't imagine a Michael B. Jordan using fucking AI if something was to ever happen to him. Or I even hear, okay, this kind of touching music, but I even hear oh no, I actually saw that Timbaland is actually working out something to where he can keep dead artists alive through AI music.
Well, see, I know that's not true. Well, I know they're not alive. I know there ain't shit. So, well,
he's planning on doing it with artists like Biggie Smalls, which as a big Biggie fan, don't fucking do that. Don't do that. But I can't imagine hearing AI songs from dead rappers or just any AI product from anybody that's dead. That just doesn't feel right. That's like playing God or something. That just doesn't feel right.
it doesn't feel right at all. And again, we all know the truth. We all know in reality he's not alive. So it's like, okay, do that. But again, it's like, well, for one, the thing about, now that we're talking about AI in terms of music, for one, do you really expect Biggie to be in the type of music we hear now? Where everything's trap music, everything's...
They're gonna put Biggie on a fucking drill beat and stuff.
And it's like, come on, leave it where it was at. It's almost like with rebooting shows, and how do you like to bring it back out of nowhere, and they just make it immerse into today's culture. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. Leave it where it's at.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Yeah, it's trifling. I hate it, man.
Yeah. Shoot, we need to stop doing well with this writer strike. Who knows? They might try to reboot shit. They got to go through the old drafts again. Like, shoot.
I guess so.
But so the next topic that I wanted to talk about with you is Jonathan Majors. You know what's been going on with him?
Jonathan Majors, Creed, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was in the new Creed movie, and he plays Kang in the MCU. Okay,
so apparently he was accused. I don't know if all I know was he had a physical altercation with somebody. Is that what happened?
So what they're saying happened, and I don't know the story detailed.
By the way, real quick, just so you guys know, I've been working like crazy, so I'm pretty much out of the loop with every trendy thing that's going on right now. I've been so fucking racked up on a lot of stuff where it's like I don't even pay attention to the news anymore. So if I sound clueless and indifferent to a lot of big hot topics right now, trust me, it's because I've been so busy.
Yeah. And also, guys, I'm finally talking about this. I said on a recent episode, a few weeks ago, I lightly brought up Jonathan Majors, but I was like, I don't want to bring it fully up just yet. But since I'm with you, I was like, fuck it, let's talk about it. Okay. So, Jonathan Majors was accused of allegedly beating his girlfriend. Apparently, it happened, I think, in the back of a cab. They were leaving a club or a bar, and basically they got into an altercation in the back of a cab. He left the cab, and then I think he was arrested later that night. And at first, you know how it is nowadays. Even if it's just alleged, you're basically already guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
And that's not me stating whether, I agree or, whether I believe him or not. That's just me stating the facts.
Yeah.
So basically, his lawyer put out text messages that they say prove that he was innocent. And then I think he got dropped by his PR team or something like that.
Really?
And basically all these companies left and right, it's still up in the air whether he really did it or not. I don't think they started trial yet, which I think the trial starts next month.
Okay.
But basically these companies have been dropping him left and right. Disney had an upcoming movie. I think it's like a biopic or some dramatic movie that he was supposed to be in. And they had an expo like earlier this month, or no, last month. And they didn't show no promotion for it. He got dropped from sponsorships. But the main thing people are waiting for him to get dropped by is Marvel, because, he's the next big bad in the MCU.
Okay. So
people are waiting for his next move, and there's been rumors that Marvel is gonna recast what's his name from Snowfall? The guy that plays Franklin.
Damson Idris. Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that there've been rumors that they're either gonna get him or somebody like him to replace Jonathan Majors. But the main thing I wanted to ask you was, how do you feel about, basically these companies dropping him and him probably losing deals and basically losing the biggest fucking bag of your life, Marvel, over allegations? How do you, and it doesn't even have to just be around Jonathan Majors. Like, how do you feel with people allegedly doing something and being dropped?
Realistically, I really think people should really just, for one, recognize that you're guilty, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something that we have to realistically understand, that one. I see why companies make moves like this, because, again, they're looking out for their money, because they don't want to endorse somebody who encourages abuse, encourages like such atrocities. But it is unfair. It is unfair for him to go through all that type of stuff just because of an allegation. I mean, is there like any proof?
Like I said, the only
trial starts?
Yeah, next month. But the only proof that him and his lawyer basically gave was proof that still is being argued against. So it's not even like solid damning proof that he didn't do anything. And then the fact that his PR team dropped him a few weeks after the supposed quote unquote proof came out. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that doesn't sound too positive.
I just really think that, for one, you're really innocent until proven guilty. Let's get that straight. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I see that people are taking precaution on that one just because they don't want to lose money for endorsing a bad person, but at the same time, it's like, we don't know the truth, though. I mean, let's take it back to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation.
I was actually thinking about that, too. Didn't they drop Johnny Depp from something?
A lot of things. They dropped him from a lot of things. It's only Duar, yeah, that's Duar Savage. Yeah, I had to think of the quote. It's only Duar where they kept him. So, and everyone's just throwing like all these bad things at him, saying he's abusive and all that. Come to find out that Amber Heard lied her ass off and was actually the abuser and all this. It's like, okay, that's now everyone looks stupid now. So, I do think people who are under the allegation status, they definitely deserve a chance to like at least get their voice heard. They definitely deserve a chance to explain themselves and to also like have evidence to show that they are telling the truth. I think it's unfair for people to immediately, and I think that's the problem with society now, and that's why these companies are taking they didn't have to think twice about this stuff, because they know, let's be real, guys. I mean, guy who beats up women or is accused of beating up a woman, that's, it's not good for you. We already know how this ends because in society, yeah, it's always the man who does the bad stuff. But hey, look, with past
It's
history,
never a woman.
well, here's the thing. Even if it does happen, those people who are like, yes, yes, fight for what you love, me too, and all that type of stuff. When all that shit happens, now when that person who they're fighting for, who is supposedly the victim, is actually the abuser, they're like, oh, like, where are y'all at? Y'all didn't see. Y'all not screaming now. Y'all not saying, oh, we're sorry about the accusation. No, y'all shut the fuck up. That's what y'all do. So it's like, of course, it's easy to accuse that person. It's so easy to point fingers, but it's like, can we actually sit there and actually learn about the evidence, learn about how that person did it? Can we actually just hear that out for a second? But again, I am not a CEO, Tevin. I'm not an executive, so I'm not in the position to say, well, it's so simple. I don't know. Maybe in the company it's not that simple.
See, I mean, I can think about, at least with a situation like this, I can think about it in a company standpoint because, I mean, you don't want to jump the gun, especially since you really don't know. Like, for companies, I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword. You keep them because you really don't know, and then it comes out that they're guilty, and you basically put all this money into that person, and now it's like, damn, we basically just kind of supported an abuser. But also the fact y'all don't know, so if you drop him and then you find out that, he was lied on, then that's going to be very messy because you basically just burned a bridge that probably won't ever be able to get back again. So I can understand, at least in this aspect, why a company could be, up in heels with keeping them around. But as far as like just looking at it on the outside in, just as a person, I feel like this goes back to the whole thing about society. We really live in a society where you're guilty until proven innocent. And honestly, and I said the same thing about the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion case. Honestly, none of us were there that night. So we really don't know what happened. But until we get, a final verdict in the trial, why judge him like that? So I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. I mean, I can understand for some companies and stuff like that, but I don't know. The situation is crazy, especially since, like I said, he probably just messed up the biggest bag you can get in Hollywood nowadays. Marvel. Like, you just came from Creed 3. Then you played Kang, who is basically the next big bad villain. You're supposed to show up in multiple movies, TV shows, all of that. You basically just missed the biggest bag in Hollywood. Which, I mean, I guess it still works out for Marvel, because I know you're not that into Marvel, but they're doing like a whole multiverse thing, and like sometimes the characters are played by different actors, so they can always pull it off. It'll still make sense, but it's still just like, damn. It's just crazy to think like somebody that high up can just fall from grace at any given point, especially off of just allegations.
Allegations are so powerful because it's all fueled by mass hysteria, just groups that carry out that hate, and hate hate can bring up, like, can just change a lot of people.
And I just want to make it clear, guys, I'm not trying to diminish his girlfriend's story or ex-girlfriend's story, because now apparently he's dating Megan Good. I'm not trying to diminish her story. I'm just trying to stay neutral here, and I'm just trying to say, like, if it comes out that it's false, then basically everybody kind of jumped the gun with, judging him. But if it comes out as true, then everything that he got dropped from, hey, then you just basically fucked up your own life. You knew what position you were in, and you fucked it up. So
in a situation like this, it's just good to be rational and logical about the situation. Because one of the first questions I would ask is, okay, do you guys have any camera footage of him actually hitting him? This is in New York, right?
Yeah, I think so.
In New York, and especially with a well-known guy like him, like that guy, someone's getting him on camera.
And does cabs not have cameras in them?
That's why I thought, do they have cameras? They should have cameras.
Yeah, most cabs I know usually would have like a hidden camera somewhere. So if it happened in a cab, I would think they would have picked it up.
Exactly. And do you guys not have photos of the girl being abused? With the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, they dropped those photos fast.
Man, that shit was in 4K.
You can look that shit up now. It's like, it's really sharp quality. So it's like, do y'all not have any pictures of her being abused? Do y'all not have any witnesses nearby? It's New York. It's a really well-known fucking place. Even at 2 a.m., you're going to have people walking in the streets. So it's like, where's all that at?
Were there no bystanders or like were there people in different cars or anything like that might have seen it go down? Like, I don't know. Maybe they're saving some of this for the trial itself.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Maybe they're saving it, but it's just like there's a lot that, especially in a day and age like this where everything gets leaked. This is one of the situations where you would think like, can somebody leak something? So I don't know.
So yeah, I mean, find the evidence, present it, show how it makes sense, and yeah, I'll then believe it. Aside from that, it's just a fucking allegation.
Shit. Damn, I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. This always happens to me, especially with me and Al talk. I don't know why. I always be ready to say something, but then I forget. But we will definitely pick up this conversation, especially after the trial. I mean, hopefully Al will be there for that episode, but we'll see. And the last topic that I had for you today, which kind of falls back on society, because we've been talking on society a lot this episode. So, just to introduce you guys into the topic, this morning, I was listening to a video about GTA 6, and I was hearing someone say that, like, apparently Rockstar is dialing back a lot of the offensive jokes that Grand Theft Auto and that Rockstar are known for. And apparently, even through updates on GTA 5, they've been taking out some of Trevor's offensive jokes. And this isn't like the first, and this isn't just about GTA and Rockstar. This is about how recently I've been hearing a lot of comedians, you know, people in the entertainment industry all saying that they have to watch what they say or dial back what they say, or it kind of diminishes their creativeness because they have to watch out for things that might be deemed offensive nowadays. So, Al, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like people watching themselves from offending people is messing up their creative flow?
I really feel like it is, yeah. It's just the fact that we're not offered it. I feel like with creativity, we have the right to be expressive, to express how we feel, to express like the message we're trying to, like, just to send a message. Now, being held back from like certain criteria or certain like certain lines you can't cross, it's like why? Like, why is that necessary? See, the thing about movies, for example, is I don't care if they use racial slurs or like anything that would offend in my case, a black person or a black Muslim person. But as long as it fits the context of what they're trying to show, I'm okay with it. Like, if they were to say the N-word on a slave movie, of course I will be okay with that one, because it's like, it was during a slave time. Like, what do you expect? You expect them to say N-word? Like, come on, it's a slave movie. What did you anticipate? But it's all about context. It's all about the background. Because as a creative, you want them to be, the best way to serve any type of creative work is to make sure they're fully immersed in the whole content they're trying to show. It's just for them to relate, to connect, to fully understand why this is being made. They need that space. And if they can't operate that one because of political correctness, it's like, come on now. They can't do it. It won't be as, for example, as a comedian, it won't be as funny. Just because you had to hold back on that one. It's you gotta be so careful about it. And it's like, I want to be able to express myself. Now, I'm not saying, there's a fine line between being expressive but using I would say satirical humor, or like just like something that's a little bit obscene, but there's a difference between that one and just being straight up offensive. Being offensive, you're directly being hateful to that person. You're deliberately trying to get a rise out of that person. That's exactly what offensive is. You want to say it just to actually show how much you hate a certain group. When you're using it as a joke, when you're using it in terms of like context, like something like something as simple as GTA 6, it's like, I mean, it's it's a game. First off, it's GTA 6. What do y'all anticipate? It's a rated M game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're allowed to kill You're allowed to kill people, innocent people, for God's sake.
You're basically allowed to do mass shootings in the fucking game.
You're allowed to do that stuff. It's a video game. It's almost like, remember back? Oh my God, this pissed me off. I remember back when Modern Warfare 2 came out.
Oh, the no Russian mission.
Not the no Russian mission. No, it was a new Modern Warfare 2. So pretty much, I saw on.
Oh,
yes,
okay, no.
I gotta explain it. So I was on Instagram one time, and I follow I follow a Muslim account. I'll call it a Muslim. It's just an account for like everyone in the Muslim community. I saw that the first mission of Modern Warfare 2, where they launched an airstrike on an Iranian general, received a lot of backlash because this Iranian general that they killed, apparently some Iranians felt like this was mirroring the general that Donald Trump had ordered an airstrike on back in 2020. You know, Soleimani, that's who the general was. And everyone was worried that this would start World War III, which realistically, that wouldn't happen. Iran's too weak for that shit. Mm-hmm. But everyone thought that mission, they were using that to mirror Soleimani's death. And a lot of Muslims, they felt attacked by that. They felt like, I don't know, they just, they really felt attacked that a general who was actually a bad guy in real life in Iran, pretty much like they thought that us showing like a Muslim being destroyed by an airstrike, that's like an attack towards Muslims in general. And I'm like, it's only an attack to that one guy. And even if it was just a general, it's like, that's just the one guy, bro. That's not saying Muslims die in general. I don't know why everything's so. It's like you can't even show like even like stuff that's based on a true story. You can't even show that in games because apparently that's too sensitive for people to see. And again, it's a rated fucking M game. What did you anticipate was gonna happen? What did you think was gonna happen? I don't know. I just feel like, especially stuff where it's like TVMA, rated M games, rated R. It's ridiculous how soft it's getting. How soft all those forms of media it's getting now. It's ridiculous.
See, my stance on it is, and one thing I've always said to people is, I mean, I've always said this about jokes and stuff like that, but I feel like this could be used in any type of situation. You can say, do, or whatever you want, but you also need to be ready for what you're going to receive after that thing is done. Mm-hmm. So that's my overall stance on that. But what I will say is I feel like, yeah, we are getting a little too soft as a generation. And not even just as a generation, but just as a society. It's just like, why? Like, hearing Grand Theft Auto, who is a game typically known for its violence and its out there jokes, which Grand Theft Auto is just like other pieces of media like Family Guy or South Park, where they make fun of everybody to the point where, you know, they don't hold back from any group. Black, white, Asian. It doesn't matter what group you are. Gay, straight. They make fun of everybody to the point where who the hell can be offended because we all just got offended. Mm-hmm. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, that's the one thing that I can't stand about a lot of people nowadays. They always say, oh, I wish this was just like that. I wish it was like how it was back in the day when, like, you know, comedians or movies and TV shows weren't afraid to go there. But the thing is, too many people are bitching about stuff that would just fly back in the day. And I don't mean like the stuff that was meant with hatred and stuff like that, but you can tell when something, if a joke or if a movie scene was made out of hatred or because they want people to laugh or because, you know, this is a true experience that they're trying to show people. Mm-hmm. Like, when people make slave movies, I'm not sitting there thinking they're making the movie because they want slavery to come back and shit. They're just showing us the reality of what things were like back in the day. Or like even with comedy movies, like I said, and like I said before, I love comedy movies. There's so many movies out there that makes fun of so many groups to the point where you can't just help but laugh because everybody's getting a blow at them. Like some of my favorite movies back in the day were the Harold and Kumar movies. A movie about an Indian guy and an Asian guy. And the movie was full of non-stop Indian and Asian jokes. But were they being hateful to the group? No. They were playing around with the stereotypes and shit. They even made fun of black people. They made fun of white people. Like, basically their movies calling out people's stereotypes to the point where it's like, yeah, that is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Like, as a society, I feel like we need to ease up on stuff, especially to the point where Grand Theft Auto, a series known for their out there humor, has to dial back their identity. Like, you're basically asking them to stop being what it is. And that's how, okay, I know you're not really into gaming or nothing like that, but that's how Saints Row 2022 became what it was.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, yeah, because Saints Row back in the day, you know, it used to be a wild, out there, crazy type of game, but now it became so PC that, like, it just so, what can I say? It's so square.
It is.
like the game is just, the graphics ain't out there, the story ain't out there, and I don't mean like an offensiveness, but they don't do anything to push the mold. The characters ain't out there. The game doesn't push the mold because it's trying to satisfy too many people. It just like, I don't know, like, things were better back in the day because it wasn't so worried, that companies and stuff weren't so worried about offending people. They just genuinely wanted to tell the story they wanted to tell. Mm-hmm. And if somebody didn't like it, then maybe they weren't the target audience. Now, I'm not sitting here say offend people or anything like that, because people can see the true intentions behind things. But it's just like, I don't know, freedom of speech is somewhat being attacked.
Like, it is being attacked. Yeah, I agree on that one.
And then watch some extreme ass people listen to the podcast and think that we support crazy shit. But
I just laugh when those people come out of nowhere, just because it's like, first off, yeah.
All we can do is sit back and laugh, because shit is getting ridiculous. Grand Theft Auto isn't going to be Grand Theft Auto. Well, I mean, it's not that it's not going to be itself. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not just based on comedy, but still, like, you're basically asking Grand Theft Auto to take away one of its attributes.
It's so hard because I really don't get I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Like, think about it, Al. We're hearing rumors that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to draw back on its comedy when Grand Theft Auto 5 at the beginning of the game had a white boy saying nigga to two black guys. Mm-hmm. Like,
I don't...
and nobody got offended by that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying, how can I go about doing this? First off, I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure see, political correctness is so deep down the rabbit hole where it's like, it's hard to even figure it out at this point. Like, why are people so pressed now? Like,
And it's not like we're telling people to be hateful or anything like that. It's just freedom. Like, there should be freedom of speech, just as long as it's not coming from a hateful place. That's the real main point that I'm trying to make. Like, just as long as you're not being malicious to a group or a person or any type of identity, like, just as long as you're not being hateful, who the fuck cares? Like, who cares?
Seriously, it's like, there's hate groups out there. There's plenty of hate groups out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are people those are people who you want to stay away from. Those are people you want to hate, who you resent, who you want to stay away from. But it's like, again, this is a hard topic because it's at the point now where it's like irreversible, where people just think that this is the way life should be like, and it's like,
the reason that this is a hard topic is because there's a lot of people out there that will misconstrue words into making you think that let people say hateful things, which that's not the case here. Mm-hmm. So
no, it's definitely that one. Yeah, people mistake a lot of things. Just take a lot of that as a mistake. Like, how can I describe it? I'm trying to find an example, man. I just hate political correctness in general. I'm just trying to find an example on how ridiculous it is, man. I don't know, Tevin. You gotta help me out on this one, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just with a game like GTA 6, it's like again, it's a rated M game. Again, for one, know the content the content you're talking about. One, it's GTA 6. It's a rated M game that's been having controversy for years, just because it's a violent game.
Yeah.
It's at that point where they can do whatever they please. But at the end of the day, they're doing it just for content. They're just doing it as a context, saying, "Hey, look, this is what it is in that game." In a game like GTA 6, where they're trying to immerse it, and I'm assuming this is going to take place in Miami or Florida or whatever. Yeah, they're going to have people. Yeah, they're going to have a bunch of racist people in that game talking trash and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you don't like the game, fuck it, don't play it. It's whatever.
Exactly.
But don't make it to a point where it should be a mandate now, where no, anything that talks about any group, even though it's not directly pointed at them, but it's just, it's just there for context purposes. Anything like that one should not be in the game, just because we have sensitive people and it'll make them want to go crazy and rip their hair out if you talk about that.
And I was thinking about this while we started talking about it. Me and Steve was watching White Chicks, the old the Wayans Brothers movie, and the thing that I picked apart from watching it now that I'm older is I love how the movie basically uses black and white stereotypes, basically like using it in jokes, but it's also calling out why the stereotypes could be considered ignorant and stuff like that. And I don't know. I feel like that's why freedom of speech is somewhat messed up nowadays, because the crazy thing is a lot of white people love that movie, but at the same time, that movie is calling out a lot of the white people that makes those type of stereotypes and stuff like that. And I feel like that's the beauty of freedom of speech, and especially when it's not afraid to go out there, because, like I said, it's a movie that's calling out basically like stereotypes, calling out different type of groups, but at the end of the day, it's pointing out the ignorance of the people in some of those groups, but it's also, providing laughter. It's not providing hate between everybody. So I feel like that's where freedom of speech kind of ruins things. It's like people can't make entertainment that will make people think or that brings people together. And I'm not saying it's not impossible trying to be politically correct and not trying to bring everybody together, but I will say, like, it is crippling to the creators if they have to watch out for every little thing that they say or do. I hope everybody got what I was trying to say from that.
No, I get that 100%. It really has me thinking, like, why? See, political correctness, it's such a tight rope you're walking on. Or it's just it's just a tight rope that you're walking on. And on top of that as well, it's like, no one ever laughs at each other and laugh at themselves anymore. It's all about, I'm perfect. If you don't think I'm perfect, then screw you. I hope you die and all that type of stuff. And it's like, bro, for once, just joke with yourself. Just take it easy. Stop being so tight about the situation. Like, hey, look, I like satirical humor. I like anytime I watch a comedian talk about black folks, Muslim folks, I laugh. I laugh because it's like, hey, look, it's true. We do it all the time. It's fun. It's so. I thought I was the one who does this, but it's true. And
you know what? You just made me think about, and I want to say this, and then we could try to wrap it up. But you just made me think about how now I don't really like TikTok, right? Like that or whatever. But there's this one TikTok comedian named Trey Rags or something like that, and most of his comedy was actually, and he's black, and most of his comedy was jokes basically about black people. And the thing is, somehow TikTok or whoever was watching his videos, like, he became one of the most popular creators on there, but then somehow he got banned from it so many times that now he's transitioned to YouTube and Instagram.
See, that's the thing I hate about this whole thing. Why is the ultimate end game is banning somebody, canceling them, essentially ending their whole career? Like, why is it ultimately lead to that one? That's why I feel like this whole thing is a mandate now, because it's like, if you do it, the charges you'll have is just being excluded from society.
And sadly, unless you make like undeniably great content like Kanye West or something, you're never gonna get over your cancellation.
No, you won't. Never.
But so is that all you had to say about it?
Yeah, that's all it was.
All right, y'all. So y'all already know the deal. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on streaming services, follow the podcast. You know, support your boy. Share it with everybody you know. Once again, thank you for listening to the podcast. Al, thank you for being on it.
Thank you for having me here.
And, ooh, that dab was clean.
It was clean shit.
And with all that being said, Tevin Jameer signing out. See y'all in the next one.